Hi everybody, this is Lori at the Calico Cat Quilt Shop, and we are going to do part 2 of our pumpkins. So here is what our pumpkins look like, and we're going to put leaves on them now. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Okay, so I have got a green, and I'm just using a scrap here. Happens to be a 2.5-inch strip, and I just drew myself out a little template. And any scrap of batting will work, or fat quarters or whatever. I think when I did the first leaves that I tried, I just had like 1/8 of a yard, and they all fit in there really nice. So I'm just gonna layer my fabric and some batting and come up with a shape of how you want your leaves, and doesn't really make that much difference. You're not really going to be able to see the shape that much when you put it on the pumpkin, but I kind of went for a pumpkinish look. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to roughly trace around the edge of my pumpkin leaf with my favorite marking utensil, or whatever works for the color fabric. And if I get close to the edge, that will be okay. The one thing that I did notice is it helps if you have a little bit of an indent towards the middle. That will make a nicer gather next to the stem if you've got a stem put in there. So if I do this right, I can get a couple of leaves out of this piece of batting. Probably can't see that real well, but as long as I can see the line when I go to the sewing machine, that's really all that's going to matter. So I get a rough idea at least. Make that line a little bit better. Okay. And then I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and show you that. Okay, and my machine is all ready to go. I have white thread on the bottom, but it will be fine. We're not going to really see the bottom of the leaves. And I'm just going to start on this one and go stitch a little bit to the inside of my line and maybe make it a little smoother than what that line is. And I'm probably going maybe 1/8 of an inch inside the line. But it's going to be rough, and that's fine. Doesn't have to be real exact. My goal is charming pumpkins, not perfect. Yeah. My scissors are not over here, so trim that thread out of the way. And basically these stitches are just to keep the layers from falling apart. And I did find a color that matches pretty good, so you really kind of can't see it. Make sure I get everything lined up here. And I'll trim this thread later. And I might have to reposition things a little bit. Actually, if I don't trim that thread, I'm going to run it over. Okay. And see, the white doesn't look too bad either. So I could just do white on top and bottom if I wanted to. It doesn't really matter. Do whatever color I want. Okay, so we'll take this back over to the cutting table. So you can see I stitched around my leaf shapes, and now I'm just going to cut them out, and I'm going to cut close to the line. And I guess it doesn't matter which one I start with. And here I'm going to trim just batting mostly at that spot. But as long as I get all 3 layers, have a little bit of an edge between the edge and the stitching, it will be fine. Just don't want to cut my stitches. And the marking pen that I used was Disappearing ink, so it will fade out. Or I can put water or steam or whatever on it and make it disappear faster. Okay, so there's one. Or I could use this side too. And then just not worry about it. So let's see, get this one cut out. And I'm actually thinking I might just make a bunch of leaves and throw the leaves in the basket with my pumpkins for decoration. Could make some red leaves. There, I didn't catch the bottom, so I just got to go back and trim that. Try and get all 3 layers on there. So I think I might do some red leaves and some yellow leaves, and maybe I'll try and make a maple shape with some of them, or maybe some different shapes. We'll see. I'm gonna end up with a basket full of leaves maybe. It'd be a good scrap project. Okay, so now I got 2 leaves here, and I will just show you adding one of the leaves. Oh, there's a little knot in my thread. that I did not put on purpose. Doesn't look like I have any knots though, so I better put a knot at the end. Middle's just not helpful. Well, didn't do quite what I planned on it doing. Okay. So I'm gonna take one of these leaves, and actually with this pumpkin that I didn't like the shape on this end, if I just put my leaf on there, that's gonna cover it up. So we'll just do that. I'm gonna grab one of these little pleats and kind of go through like that. Probably help if I drop the leaf. Wasn't trying to hold that too. Okay. And then I went through this way, and now I'm gonna do the leaf this way. So that kind of hides that tail of the thread. And I just want to catch the edge with a stitch or two. And they're gonna be pretty small, especially since this is black thread, because I'd kind of rather not be able to see that when I get done. And really 2 little stitches is probably all I need. One on each side. Because they're just decorations. Or at least that's the idea. So you can see when I pull those stitches together, it just kind of puts a little wrinkle in there. And then I'm gonna go back through another couple pleats, grab that, make it tight as I want it, and then put a knot in. That bow just keeps wanting to be in the way. Some days are more of a struggle than others. Okay. So that's pretty secure. And actually what I'm gonna do, find the right thread, is lift this up and pull my thread so that it ends underneath, so that when I trim my tail, you won't be able to see the tail. There. So there's my cute little lopsided pumpkin. And then we'll put this other leaf. We actually ought to put it on a different color pumpkin, because now they look like odd twins or something. We'll put it on this one. That's fine. And whichever side I want. Get a little fabric. And then the edge of my leaf. Just a little stitch there. Little stitch there. And stitch it to the pumpkin, pull it tight, and this time I'm gonna be smart and have the tail on the underside. Do my knot there too. Make it harder to see everything. Just like that. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed at least watching me make decorative little pumpkins for decoration, and yeah, I might have to do a basket full of leaves too. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.